You will be removed from many of the OTA platforms if you don't keep up your 5-star reviews. Sites like Airbnb removed over 400,000 listings just because they're either duplicate listings or they didn't keep up their great reviews. We found it's super important to have boots on the ground, and we think it's very valuable to do quality control inspections after our cleaners. We're going to show you in this video how to do that, so let's get into it. We have wonderful cleaners that we use, but we still think it's important to do these quality control inspections just to catch things that may have been stolen or broken or damaged. We also want to make sure it's staged and looks beautiful for the next guests. We like to use a checklist called Breezeway. It does a really good job of just having a simple app on your phone that you can go through. Everything's timestamped. It's a beautiful thing. And our goal with these inspections is to be efficient. We want to get through the property. We know some of the common things that cleaners can miss. We just want to get through the property, make sure it looks great, catch if anything was broken, and get out. All right, so let's start the inspection and kind of go through how I would do it. So always like to start in either the kitchen or the living room. I've got my handy dandy supply bag here. I stock that with all sort of the guest usables or guest amenities that you might call them. Sometimes cleaners miss leaving 1 or 2 things out. It's not a big deal. That's why we come through, right? Just checking things. Appliances can be a common one that you want to check. So, looking inside, just making sure those look really good. Dishwasher. Sometimes dishes get left behind. They didn't there, so they did a good job. But just checking appliances in the kitchen is a really big one. You can run the sink as well. Make sure that doesn't get drained. That's a common problem. When it comes to the living room, I would say TVs. You want to test the TV, turn it on. It's a really simple one, and I always say it really sucks if you're a host and all you have to come out for is some batteries. So testing that, making sure the remote works good is important. Next thing is the outdoor area. This house has a grill. It's raining a little bit outside, so I'm not going to get into that. But you do want to check and make sure that the furniture out there is properly cleaned. Guests use this area a lot, so you don't want them to come and have pollen. Dining table looks beautiful. No stains on the furniture. If the seats in the kitchen or the seats on the dining table have any sort of like cotton or soft material that could be stained, that's another really good thing to check. So now as we get into the bedroom, again, you want the bedroom to look really presentable. You want it to look beautiful with the pillows. You also want to check if there's any stains on the bed, checking the TV remote. And then as you go here into the bathroom, making sure that they left all the amenities. So you want the guests to have the soap. That's one thing we provide. You want them to have toilet paper. We like to provide 2 sets, so I'm going to stock 1 more there. Then last thing I like to check is any shower doors like this commonly break. They tend to be fragile, so I like to check them and just make sure they move properly. Next thing, again, just checking the same thing in the next 2 bedrooms, make sure the TVs work well, the beds are clean, comforters don't have any big stains. Laundry room, you can give a quick check. You can always check for the dryer lint, check for laundry pods. It doesn't look like we left pods, but it does look like we left some detergent bottles up there. And then as you come to the bathroom again, just checking for the common things. We like the shampoo, soap, toilet paper. They left 2 there. That looks perfect. I also like to check the tubs. That's common where hair can get left down there and guests go crazy whenever they see hair on stuff. Going into the last area up these stairs, you can see there's a few marks on the wall. Those tend to be pretty common when guests have to go up a sort of thin staircase, so I'm not too worried about those. I will say, as you're doing this inspection, obviously we have these checklist items that we go through, but you still want to be alert. There's still different things that you can catch. I noticed when I came up into this room immediately, this little piece was broken off of the door here, the little door stopper. So definitely want to make note of that and get that fixed. And then I heard something when I came in here and I realized the window was left open. Probably wouldn't have noticed that if it wasn't so windy outside, but again, this is why it's valuable to do these inspections. So want to close that off. And then the last thing we'll check is, again, just this last bathroom, making sure amenities are there, shower door works good. And that's kind of how we end it. It's pretty simple. Once the Breezeway inspection's done, our guest service team will know that the place is ready to go. We'll get a notification about that. We always encourage them to check the guest in early if that's possible. Guests really love getting into a place, especially if it's free. It's a nice little way to get some extra brownie points at the beginning and get those 5-star reviews that we talked about. Any work orders that we had while we came through, we'll get those updated when we get back to the office, and then we'll be all squared away. Depending on the size of the home, the frequency which we do these inspections changes. So I'm really curious. In the comments below, tell me the size of the place you manage, and then put down how often you're doing these quality control inspections. Otherwise, I hope you really enjoyed the video. I think this is a helpful one. I think inspections, quality control is really important when it comes to short-term rentals. So please like, subscribe. Let me know if there's any future videos you want to do, and I'll see you in the next one.